In a football arena, a match between two most outstanding opponents has started. Two observers are partaking in each second of it and supporting their separate groups anyway. One specific man is by all accounts terrified. He knows something that no other person does, that the arena will detonate assuming the clamor level surpasses 100 decibels. There is a pointer in outside the arena that shows the commotion levels as the frightened-looking man is on the telephone discussing the conceivable blast. A fan hears him and asks about the matter with a restless look. The man uncovers all that about the conceivable blast, even declares that assuming an objective is scored, the clamor levels will clearly increment. Hearing this, the fan ends up being stressed, yet he understands what he has assumed. He needs to forestall any objectives until the last whistle. Tragically, the host group gets a punishment. Confusion is going to unfurl, yet just under the wire the fan nobly rushes to the pitch and kicks the ball. This defers the blast for now, yet can he deferred until the full-time whistle. Following this, the film goes into a flashback in the profundities of the sea and east of Hiroshima. A Korean submarine named Hala is going through. Inside there are a few naval officials attempting to safeguard their country from assailants. The head of the gathering is Kong, however youthful he is. Similar terrified man from the primary scene. Sadly, one day they go under weighty fire as a foe submarines begins besieging them with rockets. Can calms his team down and makes an honest effort to direct them toward security, however is fruitless toward the end. Empty accidents at the lower part of the sea at the scene, and quick advances by a year, and Kong, who is as yet alive, has begun carrying on with an ordinary life. He is resigned from his obligations and invests a large portion of his energy with his significant other. Colossal youthful and their girl saw one day as he is making a beeline from a street meeting. Unexpectedly, he gets a call from an obscure number. The individual on the other end makes sense of that. Explosives have been planted at an event congregation and furthermore at a major's house. He then requests Kong to choose an area from the two. However, true to form, the stepping stool hangs up. Following this, Kong goes to the press meeting where he has gotten some information about the submarine debacle that killed many team individuals. One of the journalists even asks Kong in the event that he successfully help what is happening by any means. Anyway, he doesn't answer any of them and stay quiet. Now that you do a question and answer session close to the major gets a bundle at his home, and on opening it he finds a bomb inside. Simultaneously another bomb is found. The carnival is referenced by the mysterious guest. Unfortunately, before the major can respond, the bomb detonates, leaving his entire family harmed. In the following scene, Beryl's spouse Eugene got the call, illuminating her to show up at the entertainment mecca as quickly as time permits. Right then the plane calls Kong and requests him to introduce an application on his telephone. He makes sense of that the Apple blocked the entirety of their objective and messages separated from his. Kong clearly thinks the whole thing is BS and won't go along, yet when the variety takes steps to explode the following Bama, he speedily introduced the application. When he introduces the application, he gets the following area which will be bombarded. To rulers' shock, it is the city's biggest football arena, Asiatic Mean Field. Prior to hanging up, the plane warns Kong against illuminating the police and allows him an hour to save individuals in the arena. Kong burns through no time and hurries to the Asiatic Mean Field where a club football match is being held. He goes inside the arena and quickly begins overreacting. Subsequent to seeing the sheer number of observers there, besides tracking down a small bomb inside, this time for smash is additionally essentially unimaginable. All of a sudden the plane calls Kong and gives him a few guidelines right off the bat. The bomb deals with sound. On the off chance that the commotion inside the arena arrives at 100 decibels, it will get enacted. The plane likewise uncovers that the bomb is inside the celebrity sitting region. That is not the most terrible thing on the planet. No one but insane people can manage the cost of those seats. Meanwhile, a journalist O'Day hears Kong conversing with the plane. He remembers him as the skipper of the bound Hollis submarine and asks, assuming all is well. Kong basically specifies that a bomb will detonate assuming they make an excess of commotion prior to leaving. Hearing this, O'Day becomes panicked and he begins conceptualizing thoughts and the most proficient method to control the group. When nothing comes up, he covers his mouth and races to the field, trying to occupy each one. The arrangement works for some time and the group become quiet, however soon he has removed and the match continues. In the interim, Kong is still en route to the celebrity sitting region, which is precisely on the contrary side of the arena. Tragically, simultaneously the match go to punishments and up. Claire scores an objective. This prompts the group to go wild and the sound level effectively crosses 100 decibels, consequently enacting the bomb. Not long after, a restless Kong arrives at the area and starts looking through the room erratically. Fortunately, he finds the bomb inside an aquarium and takes it out. He then, at that point, asks everybody in the celebrity region to consent. Clear everyone. Individuals Greetings, and they race to somewhere safe and secure anyway. One youngster is abandoned with just 5 seconds on the bomb clock. Kong, who is as of now out, sees this and hurries to save the youngster. He covers her body with his, and simultaneously the bomb detonates. Luckily the two of them make do, and as Kong leaves the room holding the small child, everybody break down for him. Regard, you actually blew it with the submarine body, yet great job. Later, as Kong is leaving the arena, he again gets a call from the plane, who uncovers the following objective. It ends up being a nearby pool resort which is continuously rambling with individuals. The clock likewise begins, which is for precisely an hour since the hotel is extremely far away. Kong asks the Ripper watchman goodness date alone his vehicle for the day. The stepping stool obliges, yet just depending on the prerequisite that he can join. Kong doesn't have any desire to jeopardize anybody yet, since he doesn't have a lot of time. He settles. On the other hand, his soul is getting back alone. She gets captured. In the meantime, Kong features his flawless driving abilities and figures out how to arrive at the hotel in no time flat. In the process, he defies every traffic guideline under the sun. Right then, Kong gets a call from the plane, and this time he likewise gets an image. It is of his little girl Saw, who has been tied and set inside a dark vehicle. The image obliterates Kong, however he rapidly refocuses and centers around the job that needs to be done. He then, at that point, continues to the pool, yet not previously or during day, to look for the dark vehicle. Soon after, Kong begins searching for the plane around the area. He thinks that it is inside the water like the last time, and shockingly, he is right. To draw a nearer look, Kong jumps inside the pool and attempts to incapacitate it somewhere else. At the event congregation, his better half Eugene has shown up at the scene wearing a bomb suit. It turns out that she is one of the most mind-blowing besieged on the off chance that clients in the city, and that is the reason she has been called upon. Sadly, while she is attempting to focus, a couple residing in the close-by loft makes a noisy clamor. This enacts the bomb, and the clock begins ticking. At right now we're shown the locations of two better places, the pool and the event congregation, where the husband and spouse are both going to disarm Sways. What is going on is tense in the two spots, and in the end they choose to safeguard the bomb with their own bodies, trusting that it can save individuals. I surmise neither of them are extremely content with their marriage anyway. When the clock runs out, nothing happens. Officials at the event congregation expect that it is a trick. However, right then Kong got the call that is associated with the clock knew for his better half. Now the two of them can hear each other. Eugene can likewise see an image of her grabbed girl inside the clock. Then the plane shouts out and uncovers that an enormous dangerous is set under the ground where gigantic Youthful is standing. She can run, however, assuming that she does so, little Saw will be killed. Kong, who is hearing everything, packs his significant other to take off. However, she doesn't move an inch. A brief time later, an enormous blast, a revile which throw her a couple of meters away at the parking garage. O'Day finds the dark vehicle he was searching for. In some way or another opens the entryway, yet when he does so, a little blast, a revile causing him minor wounds, can likewise shows up at the scene. Yet does it track down any indications of his girl inside the vehicle? In the accompanying scene, where it last showed the brains behind all the fear assaults, he is Scrumptious Ogx Naval Force, who is a piece of the Hollis submarine when it went under assault. His sibling was likewise in the submarine, yet he died right then and there. Presently Taste Youthful is doing all of this to get back at the public authority and Kong for their erratic choice. It's somewhere else. The city area boss official Youthful Han is educated about the blast at the carnival. He is additionally informed that the bomb diffuser Eugene is yet alive, which makes her an undeniable objective for the aircraft. Subsequently, Youthful Han requests that his driver take him to the emergency clinic right away, yet before they can arrive at it, Tastes Youthful goes into Jang utilized clinical room and kill her safety officer. Then again, Kong and O'Day go to meet an ex-naval official and ask about Taste Yard's whereabouts. The stepping stool gives them a location, thus the inquiry starts. Inevitably, Kong goes into the culprit's house, where he finds a great deal of material spread around. These are the very materials that are utilized to make the bombs. Right then Kong gets a call from On, who considers them answerable for the passing of his other co-officials. Kane makes an honest effort to legitimize himself, however he's young, doesn't tune in, and proposes that he meet him at the Fog Lodging. After this, masking himself as a specialist, On removes immense Youthful from her room in a wheelchair to the passage. Meanwhile, Youthful Han likewise shows up there, yet neglects to perceive the culprit. He rather go directly to Tremendous Youthful's room and finds her watchman lying dead on the floor. Frightened, he arranges his driver to examine the entire region for Delicious on the stepping stool, finds him and start a battle, yet in the process he winds up dead, permitting Scrumptious On to drive away with Jang Yu. In the meantime, a stress can cause the goodness heart and clears up the whole circumstance for him. He likewise uncovers about the bomb-related materials found the culprit's house. Soon Kong and O'Day show up at the fog lodging and start looking for the plane. However, rather they find Little Seal dozing on a sofa wearing a coat covered with explosives. In the meantime, youthful Han and his group review the culprit's house. What's more, find that the explosives are associated with various boats and it is challenging to disarm them somewhere else. Taste Youthful enters the workshop lobby of the fog lodging wearing another coat brimming with explosives, and to the group hearing his voice, Kong hurries to the corridor and defies him. He makes an honest effort to quiet the aircraft down, yet without much of any result. Case Youthful continues to blame Kong. Passing of his sibling Tion and a few different officials. He likewise be minimal some for exploiting what is happening for his own advantage. Following this, we are taken into a flashback. It has been 11 days since Hala has been stuck at the lower part of the sea. Tion should be visible conversing with his sibling and referencing that he has full confidence in Commander Kong and his capacity to save. Damn right. Then Kong gets a wire message from the base camp expressing that it will require close to 15 days for help to show up. With just 19% oxygen left in the submarine, the naval official begin to overreact subsequently to control what is happening and save however many officials as could reasonably be expected. Kong thinks of an arrangement. He cuts a string into various lengths and illuminates the officials that whoever gets the longest length of string will make do, and the others should forfeit themselves individually. The officials begin calling the shots from Barrel's hands and allow Destiny to choose their endurance. Tion gets a more extended strength while his sibling Tehran pulls a more limited one. Crushed Scrumptious on attempts to challenge the skipper, however he is driven away. Then, at that point, just before his eyes, Table Youthful and the others you got more limited strings are driven away from the spot. Back to the current. Taste Youthful tells Kong that his better half is caught inside a vehicle left external the inn and presently he just has 3 minutes to save the two, his girl and spouse. He likewise specifies that Kong needs to take the coat he is wearing close both to debilitate the clocks with the variety screw taking by Taste Youthful makes what is happening considerably more troublesome by going after Kong that you go this way and that for some time, yet in the end Youthful Han shows up and shoots Stacy on father. Following this, with around 90 seconds left, Kong bounces from the highest level of the fog lodging and figures out how to arrive at his significant other. He then defusers the bomb just under the wire and saves her, yet by this time just 23 seconds are left on the clock, so without thinking often about anything more he drives the vehicle inside the structure. Lastly arrives at his little girl. He then escapes the vehicle and defuses the bomb just before it detonates. In the last scene, Kong acknowledges his error and assumes a sense of ownership with the dead officials before the media. He specifies that the episode happened in view of his senseless choices and that he ought to have acted all the more shrewdly. The film closes with Kong visiting the gravestones of the departed troopers and giving them his last recognition. Buy-in for additional recordings like this, turn on notices and pass on a like to help the feed out. Thank you for watching.